Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have the Jolabokaflod PDX book tag. I knew I was going to stumble over saying that. I was tagged by Roz of Skellydandling about the books, and this is a tag that I'm reading this straight off the description on Roz's video. A new tag by Margaret Pinnard that celebrates the Icelandic tradition of giving books on Christmas Eve, and the Jolabokaflod PDX is a book fair literary festival organised by Margaret and another indie author, Al Mitchell, to highlight indie authors and small presses. Roz tagged me. I'm going to try and get through these prompts. Firstly, we have the name. What is an unpronounceable or difficult to pronounce word you love? For me, it is phantasmagoria, or phantasmagoria. I'm struggling with it myself, but this is a word I came across years ago. Wanted to write a children's book with that title, but it didn't really work out well. And it was basically a sequence of real or imaginary images like that seen in a dream. Apparently it was also a form of horror theatre, but I was hoping to write this fantastical story that was made up of like horrific images. Maybe I could do that for like adults now. We have a lot to be going on with without doing that, but yeah, the word just for me, it seems so ghostly but so brilliant, and there's something supernatural about the word, and I don't know, it stuck with me for years. Anyway, 2, we have the tradition. What is a new to you tradition or retelling of one that you love? I have like literally no idea about traditions at all, really. Let's say this tradition. I like the idea of this tradition of giving people books on Christmas Eve to read, but other than that, I don't know any traditions, really. Maybe giving gifts, because yeah, let's just leave that one. 3, the adaptation. What is an adaptation of something you love that was made even better or equal? We all know that A Muppet's Christmas Carol improves on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I know that some people apparently don't like it, and that's a shocker to me, but I like the music, or even Scrooge with Albert Finney and the song Thank You Very Much. There are a lot of Scrooge adaptations that manage to improve upon A Christmas Carol. There are some that don't, there are some that make it a bit worse and don't really deal with it, but there are a lot of adaptations of A Christmas Carol out there. It seems to be the staple of Christmas stories nowadays, so most of the adaptations that exist do something to improve upon it. 4, the mood. What is the cosiest book you've read or expect to read this winter? For this, I went with Miss Benson's Beetle by Rachel Joyce. I find that all of Rachel Joyce's books are cosy and are perfect reads to just sit down and read over the course of one day when it's a bit gloomy outside. They're usually inoffensive. I mean, I have noticed more swearing, but if you can cope with swearing and some careful storytelling, then to me, you wouldn't go wrong with Rachel Joyce. 5, the discovery. Who is a new author you've discovered this year that you love? Matson Taylor, who wrote The Miseducation of Evie Epworth. This is one of my favourite books this year because it has classic British comedy, it has strong northern women, it's set in Yorkshire, and it's set in the 60s, and for whatever reason I read this, I felt an immediate affinity for the story, and even though it has some classic stories we've seen done before and it's a bit predictable, the way it was written and the telling of it, it was just brilliant. 6, the setting. What is the deepest, darkest setting you've read about? This is a difficult one. I can't find my copy now, but there is a part of Black Leopard Red Wolf where the characters are stuck in some sort of forest-like setting, and the image is just in my head right now, and I remember that being dark and scary, and it could fill you with terror, really. It was a bit gory. That book is what led me to read horror fiction, because I thought if I can read this, I can definitely cope with horror. So yeah, in fact, a lot of the setting in Black Leopard Red Wolf, because that is an unrelenting book for darkness and gore. 7. The Hot Cocoa. What is a book that comforted you during a long night, literal or metaphorical? And for this, I have gone with The Eighth Life by Nino Harrisbilly. This is a hefty tome indeed, and it's a dark book really, but it's a tale of family at its core, and it's possibly my favourite book of the year. Its length is what is very good to read on those nights when you can't sleep, and being filled with chronic insomnia, this was a great book for me to just sit down and read and enjoy this tale and this long tale of this family. And even though some of it is quite dark, it's still brilliant. And maybe it's a weird book to say I found comforting, but I think spending so much time with these characters allowed that comfort to build, because it gave this sense of comfort to going back into this book. It gave a sense of reliability. And then The Gift. What is an indie book you'll be giving this winter season? I should probably start giving out my own books as presents, because I have quite a lot of them, and it'd save me going out and buying any new gifts. Just being like, here you go, here's a copy of Doris, here's another copy of Doris. Just empty the space under my bed where I've currently got 80 copies of An Heir to Murder, I've got 80 copies of Doris Ahoy, 60 copies of Indisputably Doris, and 44 copies of Our Doris currently under my bed. So if I knew that many people, I could offload them. But there is one book that if I was going to gift to anyone, I would choose Meat by Dane Cobain. If I was going to gift any book to anybody, I'd choose Meat, because I feel like something as dark as this about meat would be just the thing you want to open on Christmas Day and be thinking about the turkey that you're about to eat and where it could come from in future. I shouldn't be so gleeful, but whilst I was doing that, I was thinking of some people I wouldn't mind instilling some terror into with this book. I didn't expect to get through this video so quickly, but I'm going to tag just 3 people today. Dane of Dane Reads, Jason of Jason's Weird Reads, and Marianne of Marianne Moronsky. Go forth and feel free to do this tag. I hope that you got something out of this video besides sheer boredom, and until next time, that is all.